This week, we reached a COVID relief agreement with the state. This agreement will help establish childcare providers to make sure that no more childcares close their doors. It will increase investment to help new providers open their doors and will make it possible for closed providers to reopen. This agreement will make quality care more accessible to working families. It will waive family fees and make sure providers are reimbursed in full. Yet this COVID agreement is only the beginning. To create lasting change, childcare providers across California need a strong with long last-term solutions, not just short-term fixes. That is why we continue to work together until we fix the broken childcare system. We will keep working until all children have access to quality care and learning no matter where they live. And we will keep working together until there are no more childcare deserts. Thank you. Next, I would like to introduce Max Arias.
Good job. Thank you, Adriana.
Good morning. I'm Max Arias, Chair of Childcare Providers United, which represents nearly 40,000 family childcare providers throughout the state. I'm also Executive Director of SAU Local 99, which represents nearly 30,000 education workers in our schools, including LA Unified. Adriana's childcare is indeed an oasis for working families in this community. The fact is that thousands of families throughout California struggle to find quality, affordable childcare. Before the pandemic, 6 in 10 Californians lived in a childcare desert. And during the pandemic, as thousands of providers were forced to close their doors, the desert only grew. And it got worse for Black and brown people. Indeed, 69% of the Latino population in California resides in a childcare desert. That is why family childcare providers like Adriana have come together in their union, Childcare Providers United. They have been raising their voices through our negotiations with the state of California. I am happy to announce today that we have reached a COVID-19 relief agreement with the state. Our agreement will begin addressing the childcare desert crisis by providing some immediate pandemic relief to providers. Through this agreement, childcare providers will receive additional financial support so they can keep their doors open. Licensed providers who closed during the pandemic will also receive a stipend to help them reopen. Providers will also have additional paid days if they need to close due to COVID, and they will have mental health services to support the well-being of providers and the families they serve impacted by COVID-19. The agreement will also waive family fees, ensuring families are supported and providers are reimbursed in full for their essential services. But this is just the beginning. Creating an equitable and accessible childcare system is going to take all of us. Y ahora unas palabras en español. Buenos días, mi nombre es Max Arias. Soy director de Childcare Providers United, que representa casi 40,000 proveedoras en el estado de California, proveedoras de cuidado infantil. También soy director ejecutivo de SAU Local 99, que representa 30,000 trabajadores de educación, incluyendo en LAUSD. Hoy día estamos en el Centro de Cuidado Infantil de Adriana Lozano. Este es un oasis en esta comunidad para todas las familias. Es un oasis porque aquí en Boyle Heights se considera que es un desierto de cuidado infantil, es decir, un área donde el cuidado infantil es muy escaso. El hecho es que hay muchos desiertos de cuidado infantil y las proveedoras de cuidado infantil han estado levantando la voz a nivel estatal para que esto pare. Me complace anunciar hoy que hemos llegado a un acuerdo con el estado de California. Nuestro acuerdo comenzará a abordar la crisis de escasez en el cuidado infantil, dando alivio inmediato a las proveedoras y los padres. A través de este acuerdo, las proveedoras recibirán apoyo financiero adicional para que puedan mantener sus puertas abiertas. Disculpas. Las proveedoras con licencia que cerraron durante la pandemia también recibirán un estipendio para ayudarles a reabrir. Las proveedoras también tendrán días pagados adicionales si necesitan cerrar debido a COVID. Además, tendrán acceso a servicios de salud mental para apoyar el bienestar de las proveedoras y las familias que atienden. El acuerdo también dispensa de las tarifas familiares. Esto asegura que familias recibirán el apoyo que necesitan para el cuidado de sus hijos sin tener que preocuparse por las tarifas, y las proveedoras recibirán un reembolso completo por sus servicios. Para esto es solo el comienzo. La creación de un sistema de cuidado infantil equitativo y accesible requiere que todos participemos junto con las proveedoras, y es por eso que estamos aquí con padres y líderes comunitarios para exigir que todas las comunidades tengan acceso a cuidado infantil de calidad. As our state moves to reopen and recover from the pandemic, we are building partnerships with the state, our local communities, and employers. Here in Los Angeles, we are proud of our partnership with Los Angeles Unified School District. We commend the school district for recognizing the importance of childcare in the reopening of our schools and the recovery of our city. Under the partnership, LAUSD employees will be eligible for a childcare stipend. It will help them return to in-person instruction while their old children are safe and learning. Here to share about this partnership is someone who has worked hard during this pandemic to ensure that millions and millions of families have food on the table and that the education workers are also taken care of. I'd like to introduce Superintendent Austin Buellner.
It is, just going to move this right here, a privilege to be here to talk about something which we shouldn't have to be talking about, something that is so desperately needed in the communities we serve, in schools and school districts, which is the access to childcare. The access to childcare in a desert like this in Boyle Heights, where families don't have the same access families have in other parts of the community. As Max says, we in Los Angeles Unified are proud of the fact, as one of the largest employers in the state of California, we have done what we think is the right thing for our employees since this pandemic started. We started providing hero pay in March. Now that's March of 2020, not 2021, because it's the right thing to do. More recently, we recognized and listened carefully to all who work in our schools, cafeteria workers, bus drivers, school teachers, school principals, that the lack of access to quality childcare presents an extraordinary burden on their families. In partnership with SEIU and others, we are part of this coalition which is trying to bring access to childcare in communities like this, where so many of our employees live, so many families desperately need it. And in addition to bringing the resources, we're providing a stipend to our employees so they can take care of other families, knowing their family is safely taken care of. Now, this issue of childcare actually is part of a larger phenomenon that we as a society have to deal with, which is a tale of two cities here in Los Angeles, the haves and the have-nots. And just look at what has happened during this pandemic. As Max has said, we have become that safety net, schools are. We've provided 123 million meals to children and adults without the help of the city, county, or state. We have made sure 500,000 students have computers and access to the internet. Does it say that schools are internet providers? No, it doesn't. But in a community like this or other communities, it's not just the fact that we can provide it for free, it's the fact that certain communities lack access to quality broadband. The signal doesn't work. That can't be solved by schools alone. We have made sure the families we serve and those in schools were vaccinated, have access to COVID tests. And we've seen the disproportionate impact of COVID in the communities we serve. Not too far from here on Tuesday, I visited Brooklyn Avenue Elementary in East Los Angeles. It happened to have been the last school I visited March 13th a year ago, as we were forced to close schools due to COVID. About 500 students, about 50 staff. Students, 2 of them lost parents. 6 of them lost grandparents. 2 staff lost parents in a community just like this. A very small school community having lost 10 lives. The path to recovery will not be quick. It will not be happening just because an elected official stands up to a microphone and says it's going to be all good tomorrow or the next day or 3 months from now. Life doesn't work like that. The families we serve and our employees need support to be part of that path to recovery, and that includes access to quality childcare. We're privileged to be part of this consortium. This is an issue that has implications not just in this community of Boyle Heights, but throughout Los Angeles, throughout the state, throughout the nation. Thank you, Max, for your leadership on this critical and pressing issue. And if you turn the cameras, I don't know if you can see, but behind us is what quality childcare looks like. These children are engaged, they're safe, and they're learning. And we know what that means when they come to school in a year or 2 or 3 and join us in kindergarten. They'll be that much more prepared and ready to learn. So childcare is necessary for the family, so their family members can go back to work, and it provides that foundation for children when they join us in schools to be much, much better prepared and launch their journey as learners in our schools. Again, thank you, Max. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for child care providers, and we're privileged to be part of this consortium. Thank you. I'd like to introduce our board member, Monica Garcia, from this community. She has served this community tirelessly and has been a consistent voice for the needs of all to make sure there is equity in all we do. Monica Garcia.
Thank you, Superintendent. Good morning, buenos dias. Welcome to Boyle Heights. I am pleased to be with SEIU 99 and Adriana Lozano and the children, our class of 32, our class of, that's 2032, 2030. Let's understand this. Academic wellness begins with good quality childcare. Academic wellness begins with children having a place to be safe, to play, to be supported, and economic wellness is essential for families across Los Angeles and in particular in Boyle Heights. And when we invest, as LAUSD has done, in the people of the neighborhood, in the families of the neighborhood, in the customer of school districts, which are our children and families who rely on public schools, when we invest in childcare so that children are ready and families, parents could go to work, it is essential for California, it's essential for LAUSD, and it is essential that recovery, I'm so funny now, that it's essential that recovery continues to invest in those that were hit the hardest this last year. So I'm grateful to people like Adriana who opened their homes to give love in action, to give safety in action, and to let those children know that we expect of them. Ahora estoy aquí apoyando el sindicato y a las familias que exigen cuidado infantil, y también como representante de esta área estoy orgullosa que LA Unified ha sido parte de la solución en apoyar que nuestros empleados regresen al trabajo con ayuda financiera para el cuidado de sus niños, y también para reconocer que esas personas que han sentido el golpe más fuerte son los mismos trabajadores, los mismos padres de estos jóvenes. Así es que aquí estamos para decir, conocemos el éxito de los jóvenes y el éxito de las familias quiere, merece y requiere inversión. También solamente una palabra para reconocer que aliados como Max Arias y Austin Buellner son difíciles de encontrar en el mundo, right? Partnerships like the one Max Arias and Austin Buellner have built over the last 3 years are rare and should be recognized. This is how you solve problems in the public sector. Muchísimas gracias.
Quality, affordable childcare is essential to get everyone back to school and work. That is why we are so proud that our new agreement with the state makes quality care affordable to more families. Here to share more about what this means for working parents is Jose Martinez.
Hello everybody, good morning. My name is Jose Martinez and I'm a proud father of Jeremy, who's 9 years old, and Aliyah, who's 4 years old. I live in the city of Boyle Heights and I work in the city of Commerce as a warehouse general labor. As a single father, knowing my children are safe and supported while we navigate through these extraordinary circumstances has meant the world to me. Adriana and her family care center are not only providing for my kids, but also providing for us working parents in California. Adriana's family care center comes with benefits comes with many benefits long before the pandemic hit. I have been able to rely on Adriana to provide with regular schedules and routines for my children and overall a better behavior. I work full-time from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. I'm also grateful that Adriana can pick up and drop off my kids from school from Endeavor College Prep. Without her help, I wouldn't be able to work or provide for my kids. Having a quality care for my children is one of my main priorities, but it also has been a struggle to keep up with the monthly costs. Reaching an agreement with the state and knowing child care providers and parents' voices are finally being heard gives me hope. With family fees being waived for struggling parents like myself, I can now use this extraordinary money on groceries, necessities for my kids, and bills. Together, I am confident that we could put an end to this child care crisis. Thank you, and please support us. Please support child care. We need them. Thank you.
Good job, Dad.
Thank you. The reality is that whether you have children or not, childcare is essential for all of us. It is essential to rebuilding our economy and essential to our future beyond this pandemic. That is why we will continue to work in partnership with local leaders, parents, and employers, and why we will continue to negotiate with the state of California for a contract that addresses the needs of childcare providers and families. We need everyone to join this effort. Today, we are proud to launch childcareforall.org. That's called childcareforall.org. This is an online one-stop shop for parents and all Californians to learn more about our movement for a strong contract and a long-term childcare solutions. So go to childcareforall.org today and sign up to take action in your community. Thank you for joining us today. That's been a press time.